All right, great Monday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It says I'm Mascoro Jr. with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, and with our 15 minutes to mastery that we do each and every day to get your day started off on the right foot so that you get some information, inspiration, and motivation so that you can attack the day. Once again, Monday, and we're here with episode number 403 of our 15 minutes to mastery. Hope you guys had a great weekend and you were able to spend some time with family, spend some time on your own, whatever it is that you prefer to do on the weekend. Hopefully, you got to do it and you got yourself all set up to be able to tack this week and get after it to the best of your ability. And this week, we're going to be tackling the topic of change because 2025 really is, can be, and should be your year of change. George Shin writes, growth means change, and change involves risks, stepping from the known to the unknown. And that scares people. That scares a lot of us. I've been there. I've worried about things, when it came time to making some changes in my life or in my business, even when I was selling, right? But think about this, okay? Think about you being this person who follows the same routine over and over and over. Your sales process is the same for you over and over and over. And I'm talking to you housing consultants and community managers out there, everyone on the sales force, because being able to do the same thing over and over, it just becomes comfortable. It's something that's familiar. It gets you some decent results. I mean, you wouldn't be in this business for 3, 5, 10, 20, 30 years if you weren't having at least decent results, right? And so with that, we can fall into that comfort zone. We can fall into that area of life or business where we just think, hey, it's working out for me. Why am I going to rock the boat? Why am I going to try and change anything? I'm just going to keep going along the same way that I am. And I did that myself for the first few years that I was in the business because I thought, hey, man, I'm taking care of me. I'm doing well. I'm okay. And so I'm just going to keep things as is. But then here's what happens. Along comes somebody else. Along comes somebody who actually does something a little bit different, changes some things in their approach, changes some things in not just their mindset, but in the way that they act. Not only with customers, but for themselves, with the team, with everyone and anybody. They just start to become a different type of person, and all of a sudden, their business just blows up. They start selling at a more consistent pace. You see, if you work for a company that puts out stats on sales and income and rankings and things of that nature, you start noticing that this person has just surpassed you at a huge quantity. Well, then you start to think, well, I could have done that too. I could be where this person's at. But the problem is that your fears of disrupting your comfort zones have kept you where you're at. It holds you back. And so this problem, this dilemma of change is what really starts to get into people's heads. It's the fear. It's scary, but at the same time, staying in the same place is more dangerous. Staying where you're at and just doing what you've done up until now is dangerous. And we're going to get into that as we go along this morning with our 15 minutes of mastery. But first, I want to talk to you about why change is necessary, why it's essential for growth in sales and in business. And you don't have to be in manufactured home sales. I say this a lot, right? If you're watching this and you're not in manufactured home sales, that's okay. Continue watching. We're here for you as well. Anybody that can get some sort of value out of the information that we share, please grab onto it, grab a hold of it, apply it in your life, and move forward. But check this out. Why is it that change is essential? Why do you need it in order to have growth in sales and in business? Well, the thing is, you have to look at change as being the engine that leads to growth. Without it, you stay stagnant. You stay in the same place. And in manufactured homes, as we're going along, especially now, 2024, heading into 2025, this industry is evolving every single year, month, week, day. This industry is starting to make moves. This industry is starting to be recognized. This industry is it's really gaining a lot of notoriety. A lot of it has to do with the fact that everything outside of manufactured homes is so expensive. But a lot of it also has to do with the fact that the product is 1,000% better. There's so many different finance options around. There's all of these companies coming into the business from outside, private investors, this is private money coming in and coming into the industry because they see the need that it fills. They see the potential for growth. They see the opportunity, but yet, for some reason, a lot of housing consultants and community managers, they're still wrapped up in the fact that, well, this is what I've been doing for 3, 5, 10, 20 years. And they don't see the change around them. But that's why, because this industry is growing as much as it is, you need to be open to change, because those that embrace change are the ones that position themselves for the long-term success beyond the next 5 to 10 years. Just a couple of weeks ago, I did a presentation called Good to Elite. We did that online. You can find the replay on our website. You go to Manufactured Home Sales Mastery. You can download the whole presentation there. But we were talking about how the numbers show that over the next 20 plus years, the housing market is going to be huge in the United States. There's going to be huge need. And you, my friends, with your product, the manufactured home industry, you are poised to be a large part of it if you change. So why change? Well, first and foremost, it just keeps you competitive. If you go along doing the same thing over and over and over again, you fall into this quote unquote rut that you don't even realize you're in, as far as this is how I do everything every day the same way. But when you start changing, when you start growing, when you start adding to what you do, and you adapt to new technology, you adapt to new ways of being able to speak to people, when you start growing as an individual and as a professional, that growth leads to a little bit of excitement. You start feeling a little younger, so to speak. And you actually start to feel a little bit more fire, a little more competitiveness. So that's one of the great things when you're able to adapt to change, and ensures that you're going to stay relevant. And that's going to help you in this changing market. I told you guys I've actually been talking about this for the last year, but really even more so over the last month. There's 26 million households across the country that can no longer afford a site-built home, and they can't do anything but either go rent a house at a higher price than what it should be, or they're going to wait it out and see if something happens. Whereas you are in the price point, you have a quality product, you're in a price point where you could truly solve that market, but you're staying behind by not changing. When you change, you also drive innovation. The more you change, the more you adapt, the more you start to innovate. I see this even with us in our business. The more that we grow, the more we continue to grow, the more products and programs that we're developing, we're thinking of, hey, we could do this, we could do that. And we're not just thinking of it, we're actually doing it. And I'm hoping to have a really important meeting this morning. And I hope that we have this next announcement for you in the next day or two of something that we're bringing to you. But anyway, it drives that innovation, that creativity, and it keeps you engaged even more. So you're more excited to go about the day, because it's not the same mundane thing that you do each and every day. And at the same time, the more you change, the more resilient you become, the more you're able to adapt when there are roadblocks, when there are problems, when there are things that come along. This changed person develops a mindset that views these setbacks and obstacles as opportunities instead of problems. They're opportunities to learn, they're opportunities to grow. And again, it's all about growing. But why is it that fear will keep somebody where they're at? They stay stagnant. First and foremost, it starts with your comfort level with who you are, where you're at, and the process that you carry out each and every day. That comfort zone is what keeps you stagnant. You need to break out of your comfort zone. Nothing good happens in a comfort zone. Let me take that back. Nothing extraordinary happens in the comfort zone. Good, average, yes. But we've been talking about this for a very long time now. You are not built to be average. You are built to be elite. You were made in a way, we all were as human beings. We have that innate sense within us to achieve greatness. Now, a lot of us, because of our fear, stay where we're at. But you need to change. You need to be able to accept progress and change over your comfort zone. Next, the fear of failure. Obviously, we know about that. Everyone's heard about this. Fear of failure keeps people back. The fear of failure keeps you from changing. The fear of failure keeps you from, well, but I'm over here and I do it this way and I'm okay. But what if I do that and it doesn't work and my pipeline falls apart and I don't deliver as many homes and I take a step back? That fear of failure keeps you where you're at. And I'm here to tell you, when you make the change, you probably will slow down a little bit because you have to master that change. But when you do, you'll see that you will leap over where you were at. And that leads me to the last point, which is that loss of momentum. Okay. Resistance to change will mean, it only means that you're being complacent, right? Which causes your sales pipelines to dry up over time. If you right now are watching this and you're in the middle of your pipeline, either falling apart or drying up, you've only got 3 or 4 deals right now working, or maybe 6, 7, when you should have 15 to 20. It's all because you're staying the same. You're not growing. The same tired act will keep you where you're at. So staying stagnant in an industry that's dynamic, that's changing, that's evolving, means that you're going backwards compared to being able to go past where you're at and your competition. Okay. So we're going to go over the risks of change versus the risk of staying the same. First, when you change, you risk uncertainty, right? You're adopting new strategies. It feels unfamiliar. It can lead to that temporary setback that I talked about. You could go back a little bit while you're adapting to this new way. However, the risk of staying the same, well, you risk irrelevance. What you're risking is your outdated methods keeping you back, sending you into a place where you're losing deals. You're not gaining new business because you're not able to influence folks because you're still trying to do it the same way you did it the last 5, 10, 20 years. And people are not responding to that anymore. Now, what about time? When you change, the risk is your time investment, learning and implementing these new processes and new way of being, marketing, speaking, calling, whatever it is. It takes time. It takes effort, right? However, if you don't do it, that same time means you miss opportunities. You fail to adapt and you miss out on new revenue that you could be building up because you're reaching a new market. Another risk of changing is that initial failure. Could you fall on your face? Heck yes, you will. I did. I started this business thinking it was going to be a certain format, and it did not work out the way that I thought it was going to. But because you're changing and you're growing and you're learning every day, I mentioned to you earlier, you become more innovative. And so you then adapt and you notice, okay, this isn't working. This is what's going to happen. And you go that way. You dive all in on that. But if you don't take that risk, you have the risk of initial failure, which you can bounce back from. But if you stay the same, you risk long-term stagnation, staying where you're at and not growing at all. And you may think, well, okay, as long as I pay my bills, I'm good. Well, you know what? As long as you pay your bills and you have that mindset, it's a selfish mindset because you're in an industry, you're in a career, you are part of a business that allows you the opportunity to do so much more. And even if you're okay staying where you're at personally, great. Do the more, gain the more, and then help other people with it. Live your life as it is, but use that extra to help others. Right? So here are the things that I want you to do. I want you to prioritize as you're looking to change. And we're going to go along this whole week on this whole topic of change. And we're going to dive into different sections of it. But I'm going to end with this. You have to prioritize progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. Get things done. Move in the direction that you want to move in. Learn the things that need to be learned. You're not going to be perfect at it, and that's okay. It's about progress, not perfection. You also, next thing you got to do is you got to weigh the short-term pain, the short-term uncomfortness that you're going to feel from changing. You got to weigh it against the long-term gain, who you will be a year, 2, 5, 10 from now, because you continue to grow and you continue to change. You also need to focus on what you're going to gain and not what you might lose. Don't worry about the pipe. Look, man, I've been telling you for the last few weeks that 9 to 10% market share will always be there. You will always get that clientele. You will always have it. But when you grow and you change, you'll be able to add to the market share that you're gaining. So don't worry about what you might lose. You're not going to lose it. You're simply going to gain by growing. But you have to start small. Take on one thing. What's the first thing that you need to change? Is it your mindset? Is the way that you think? That may start there. It may start with just changing the mindset, getting a book, finding a mentor, becoming a part of a program that's going to help you become a different way of thinker, a different type of thinker, so that you don't let things hold you back. And lastly, you want to surround yourself with growth-minded peers. You want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded. You want to surround yourself with people that are constantly growing, changing, evolving, and moving forward. You may see them sometimes have to take a step back, but then they bounce right back. They go even stronger. I've spoken to my family about this. When we've had our setbacks, we've always come back 10 times stronger. We've always done bigger and better. We may have to take a step back. We've had to take several steps back while building this business. But we also see the progress, and we see where we're at now. We see where we can still go and where we're going to go. And it's going to be so much bigger and better. And it's going to benefit so many more people than just us and our immediate family. So my friends, 2025, make it your year of change. Make it the year that you decide to take on new responsibilities, a new way of being, a new type of person that you're going to be, and somebody who goes after their goals and crushes them, so that then you can come back next year and up the ante. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're dying. And that's a pretty sucky way to live life. You guys go out there, have a great Monday, make it a great week. Man, the holidays are upon us, but do not get yourself in a holiday mode. I already told you, buyers are buying, people are buying. It's you who gets in holiday mode. Don't let it happen to you. Go on out there, do great things. We're coming to you tomorrow from Tyler, Texas. Head back up there later today. Be out there all week. You guys have a great week. Reach out to us, Manufactured Home Sales Mastery. We're here to take your life, your business, your career to a whole new level. And we've got some huge announcements coming this week. Stay tuned. Till next time, my friends. I can't wait to meet you.